Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I have been looking forward to this so much.
Oh, I'm so excited too.
Miss Molly McFarlane, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. It was a bit tricky for you to get here.
Oh yeah,
we ended up in a school.
But I've just left my car there because I think it'll be safe.
And also you don't need to
Schools
pay.
are safe.
Schools are safe.
But I didn't want to park on the road either because I don't think you can.
I wouldn't
fact,
know.
there
I
was
failed my
cars
driving test last week. It was
Listen,
really, really horrific.
That is traumatizing.
It was
my
horrible.
mum my mum didn't force us to do anything like growing up. She was really relaxed parent. Like we were really chill in my household. But one thing my mum was crazy about was us all driving, and I was like, I don't want to do it. It makes me feel so stressed.
I did an intensive course, 6 hours a day, 5 days straight, and
so
I failed.
Sickening. It's the worst.
I hated it.
I had 4 instructors. I was falling out with them all.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and then the person that passed me was a woman.
I think that says everything that you need to know.
I'm just saying, I fell out with 3 guys that were teaching me. They were the worst old guys. And then I got this woman. She was amazing, and she got me to finally pass. But I nearly quit like many times. I hated it.
Yeah, I'm kind of at that point. I mean, I only did it for a week.
It's so draining.
I'm exhausted, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
Tell.
But Molly, I've actually followed you. I'm going to sound like such a wee loser here. I followed you for ages.
Have you?
I used to follow you when you posted your outfits for when you were going to work.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, and I remember there was this one outfit. Really
oh my god, like my Eden Mill days.
There was like this outfit you wore with this, I think it was like a Burberry trench coat, and I remember seeing that and be like, I want that more than anything. And it was the cutest outfit. You looked so glam, and I was like, who is this girl and why is she living in Glasgow?
It was my mum's jacket, so I wasn't that cool.
But you've been doing that for a while.
Yeah,
like
long
you were
time.
you're like an OG influencer. You were an influencer before influencers were
So I
even
was
a thing.
like, probably started it when I was like 18 when I worked there, like on the side. Obviously I was just doing it for like fun and because I watched like all the like OG YouTubers. But I'm like 28 this year.
Are you?
I'm 28 in November, so I've been doing this a long time.
You've been in the game for a while.
Time. Yeah.
So you just started randomly posting and it kind of just exploded.
Kind of like it did take a while. I would say that I was like starting to get into it and it was just kind of for fun, and then like wee jobs came here and there, and then
What
in
was your
lockdown
first one?
Rebellious Fashion, obviously.
Oh,
And then I worked there.
No way.
Yeah, I worked there for like 2 years when I moved to Manchester, because like I didn't have like a job when I moved there, and I was like, I need to do something, and I need to not be doing something that's not fashion related because that's what I want to do. And it was actually a really good experience because I got to do the other side of the job. So I got to like go back and forth on deals. Like I was in outreach basically, so I was on the other side, which was fun, and I learned loads from that.
Yeah.
And I used to work on shoots and stuff like that, so that was good.
That's so
but
fun.
not like the ideal brand to work with. It. Like at the time it was cool, but yeah, it was everyone's first job.
You've grown up. You've changed who you want to work with and like the vibes that you want now.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, I've been doing it for like a long time. But I would say lockdown is when it kind of blew up.
yes, that's one thing that I wrote down that I wanted to bring up to you, because you posted a TikTok of you reacting to your outfits and your pictures on Instagram during
I must
lockdown.
have, like everyone else,
put them on the
lost
screen
my mind.
because they're so fun.
They were so bad. Don't forget the gloves.
The
That has to be on the screen. Why did I do that?
You were
Please?
doing the most though, and look
The most.
where it got you.
But do you know what's so funny? I was like thinking this the other day when I actually had like that time where I was like blown up, and well, not blown up, but like I got like a really decent following and loads of brands wanted to work with me, and my engagement was like so high.
And that was lockdown. Do you think that was like the turning point?
I think so, yeah, because I had more time and I'd moved back home and like everyone was helping me, and I was also single.
And
So I
that
feel
was
like
from
that-
Manchester.
Yeah,
So you went to Manchester before lockdown.
yeah.
And that was to work for Rebellious Fashion.
Yeah.
And that was to follow your...
And then I came home for lockdown and I was home for like 8-9 months, and I moved back
to Manchester.
for another 2 years. Yeah, I know.
You've been out and about. And also Manchester must have helped your career a lot, because there's a lot more going on there.
Yeah, but like I didn't really go anywhere. Well, similar to here, I didn't really go anywhere because I didn't really have any friends there, which was kind of sad for me. But I was self-employed when I'd moved back for the second time, and the girls that I'd made friends with at Rebellious, they'd all moved away and went to different jobs and stuff. So I was kind of on my own a bit, which was a bit sad. So I needed to come home because then I had some like friends here. But when I was in lockdown and I was like, had a big following, whatever, mum and dad said, when you hit 100k, we'll throw you a party. So I'm like, amazing, because I hadn't seen anyone so long. Like, you weren't allowed to do anything, and the restrictions were like weird for like 10 days. So I was like, unreal, I'm gonna have this huge party. And I'm not joking, I had no money when I had that party. Yeah.
That's really interesting, because you wouldn't get that impression because you're not like talking openly about
just because
money.
You have that following doesn't mean like I was doing that well in the job. Yeah, my engagement was high, but I hadn't been paid for anything I'd done. That was just so that I could get to a certain stage and hit that goal. And all my friends were like graduating at that like 4-year mark was when we'd like left school. So they'd all had their graduation parties, and then I had my 100k party, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. But then after that, it kind of like snowballed into getting like really good jobs and finally being paid. But that was just for fun.
So before that, you weren't really getting paid. Like, how much were you getting paid, did you think, for like posting in an outfit, or like what was like the average?
I honestly can't even remember, but when I was doing it for myself before I signed with an agency, I was charging like £50.
50 quid?
£50. The first job I ever had, I said I'll take 25.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They must have loved you.
Yeah. What an idiot.
That's insane.
And then I was like booking all these girls in for like thousands of pounds of deals, and I was like, but I can ask.
Guys, you paid me £25.
Yeah. £25.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So coming from that, how much do you make now?
I
can
don't
give an estimation.
I don't even know. Like, I couldn't even tell you.
It's like when Emma Chamberlain's like, I don't even look at my bank account anymore.
No, I look at my bank account. I'm so scared of HMRC. I look at my bank account. But I make a comfortable living now that I would happily be on forever. Like, I would stay nice. Like this.
Yeah.
I don't need any more. And I'm like, I'm happy at like the wage I get basically, and I'm like comfortable, and it's I don't need loads. I'm just comfortable and happy, and like I would do that. I would have this salary forever.
And when you started, like I said, you were kind of this OG influencer. When you started, how did your family and friends react? Were they like, this is... Well, because it's new, do you know what I mean? It wasn't really a thing.
I think mum and dad were like, right, why is she taking pictures before her 9 to 5? Like, I was up at 7 in the morning in the mirror, like taking selfies, like rearranging my room so it was tidy for like a clean background. And they didn't really get it at first, but the minute they seen me do well from something or get something gifted, they were so on board. I'm really lucky with like my family are like, this is amazing. They think it's the coolest thing ever. My dad like has like his older like lady clients like looking at my Instagram like in the salon, so they get it now, but at first they were a bit like, it's because it just wasn't a thing, do you know what I mean? It's such a, when you really think about it, it's such an odd concept, but it's like so cool that people can just make money from that. It's so I mean, day to day I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. Like, it's just been like I've been really lucky, I think, with it, and like I'm good at like styling and stuff, but I have no idea what I'm doing, truly. Do you think that you would want to move away from Scotland? Like, do you think that Scotland, like, it's obviously you've managed to build a brand here, but do you think that it can get bigger? Do you think it's something that can grow, or do you think it's limited? I think it's quite a bit bigger in the UK, like brand-wise, because a lot of these big brands like that pay a lot are the fast fashion brands that are based here. Yeah. So I feel like money-wise, it's pretty good here, but content-wise, pretty bad. Yeah, it's not the nicest. I do well when I go away. Yeah, like, honestly, on holiday. That's when my content does well. That's when I come out of my shell. Yeah. And I'm like posting it here, there, and everywhere. And I love it. When I come back, I'm a hermit, and I'm like, no one speaks to me. I'm not going on Instagram. No, and I don't want to go out and take photos where I potentially know people. It's embarrassing. Yes, that's another thing I've really wanted to ask you about. Do people come up to you? I mean, sometimes. Actually, it's the funniest story thing that happened at the weekend. I was out for my boyfriend's sister's 30th, and we were in Prestwick because, like, long story, but we're in Prestwick, and these girls came up and they said, like, can we get a photo? And I was like, yeah, of course, like chatting away to them, and we were like taking the selfie, and there was this group of boys like outside smoking. They went, who the fuck's that? It's fair enough. Yeah, that must be such an odd, because you're like,
Yeah, I guess you could take a photo because they're being so nice. But like, you have people coming up to you, like, how you're gonna have to be nice to them. You can't be
like always overly nice and like go away thinking, was I nice enough? But it's really bizarre. And like I really struggle with it. It's not something that I'm like,
it's not something you're gonna get used
comfortable with. No. And I'm like always sober as well, so I never drink. So anytime this does happen, especially on a night out, it can be really hard, like really scary.
Especially if people are drunk and coming up to you.
Because they're so like handsy and like nice.
Touching your face, like,
but sometimes people are like, so what happened? Like some people are really comfortable to ask questions when
That's
they're drunk.
another thing I wanted to ask you. People must think that they have an idea of like who you are, and that's what you've talked about. Like, you don't like how people, like, you're just being perceived by people.
Yeah.
And they must have some idea of you, and like, it's just not true.
It was actually fun when I was younger to not bother with that side of it.
Yeah.
Because I actually was not aware of it. I just think maybe it just wasn't a thing that people kind of were more involved with, like your personal life. But as I've got older, I've really, really struggled with it. Like last year I had a meltdown about it. I was thinking, I need to quit. Like I said to my mum, I'm going to come into the salon. I've never told anyone this. I was like, I'm going to come into the salon and you can just teach me like hairdressing. And I was like, I'm going to quit and just be a hairdresser. And I honestly had a complete meltdown about it because I just thought, I can't, like, this is not what I signed up for. And also nobody signs up for it anyway. No one hands their CV into Instagram and is like, I want to do this job, because no one knows. You just fall into it. And I do it because you'll know if you've followed me for a long time that I love clothes. I love fashion. That's like all I care about in this job. So I've had to like filter it to suit me in the past like year or so, but I find it really hard because people just are so comfortable, and it's fine, but I don't feel like I give anyone a reason to feel comfortable. Like I'm quite closed off.
I
don't
feel
share
like quite
too much.
Private.
I don't share a lot, so I'm like, so why do you think that's acceptable to ask?
Some people are just weird.
So weird.
There's just freaks out there.
So weird.
There's
I look at my
weird
page
people.
like I am like the boss of it, and like if you're not appropriate in the workplace, you're fired. My block list is so long.
So fair.
I am a serial blocker. This is my space.
It's like
and
your
you're
house.
making me uncomfortable.
If you don't want someone in your house, get out. Block
I created
them.
this page, and I am the owner, so you cannot stay here. My block list is so long.
How do you think people perceive you? What do you think is the biggest misconception about you?
Probably that I'm not very nice.
I think that's so bizarre because you're so nice.
I know.
And it's not like you're not nice on the internet. Do you know what I mean?
I don't get it. But I don't know. It's nothing, I have to think about it like it's nothing that I'm giving off, or I'm not giving anyone a reason for that. It's just people's assumptions, and that's fine, but quite frustrating.
I also think as a woman who's doing well and is pretty, people just love to find something. They're like, well, she must be a raging bitch. Do you know what I mean?
I just never go on the internet and feel that way about anyone else. So I'm like,
no, apart from Jennifer Lopez, I keep seeing random
but
stuff.
I'm sad. I'm actually sad about what's going on there. She's having I feel like it's a public meltdown.
It's kind of like what happened to Gabby Hanna. Do you remember Gabby Hanna? Yeah, that was kind of terrifying.
That's
but
sad.
also, like, some of the stuff that you hear about what she said about other people, you're like, girl,
Insane.
back it in. Yeah. Just give it a rest. Just stop speaking.
Yeah.
Go for a nap.
Yeah, I would say that, like, the perception that people have of me is that, like, I think I'm, like, something because I'm, like, online, or I have, like, I don't have a nice personality, but really no one on the internet knows me.
Yeah, of course they don't, because you choose exactly what you want to put out. So see, when you're like out and about in Glasgow, are you a bit anxious about being outside?
Oh, I'm ill.
Oh, Christ. I just spew.
Yeah, ill. No, I'm being dramatic. No, I'm really anxious.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's kind of sad for me. But
Molly, that's really shit.
I know.
That's like not good
I know.
whatsoever.
But like, I'm working on it. Like, I would say like the past like year or so is like really difficult. I've like all of a sudden realised that I'm an online presence and I have so many followers, and I cannot stop thinking about it. Whereas before I was like, this is my job, this is so fun, I'm here, there and everywhere. But now I'm like, oh, people see everything I do. I don't know I've just kind of realised that people actually see it, and then I'm such an overthinker. But I think since I've got into like a relationship where like I'm obsessed with the person, like, and I just think he's like the best thing ever, that I'm like, I don't want anyone to ever like affect that. And whenever I've heard like whispers or people talking and stuff, then I've like, oh my god, people actually watch what I do online. And it's not just like my clothes and my outfit of the day and like my day in the life TikTok. People are so invested, like they'll know like details about him, details about like, and that's when I'm like, no, I'm uncomfortable here.
And you've also been through a lot online, if you don't mind me bringing it up, but you did go through like a public breakup where you were engaged and you did have like an online relationship in a way, and then people saw that fell apart. How was that? That must have been a really, really tough time.
It was quite bad. It was quite like traumatizing. I think like when you get engaged, you just get so carried away. Not that there's nothing wrong with that, but I'd never like spoke about like engagement, or I was also like 23, 24, so I was like quite young. I was 24. So like in my friend group, I was like one of like the second person to get engaged, and the first person that got engaged was like, that was crazy because we were so young. But they've been together like a long time and it just felt like normal. But I would say like in my group it was like, what the fuck? Like it was and to my family as well, they were like, what the hell is going on? Yeah.
Oh really?
I mean, no one knew. So yeah, when it happened, I just got like so carried away, and I was so excited about it, and like done a lot of like public like hen things. And like was so excited about it, and had all my bridesmaids and made like YouTube videos, which is so fine, and I would do it again. Like because I was so happy and excited.
How were you supposed to know that it was gonna?
I had no idea.
You know.
So when like it kind of all came like to a head, I was like, this is a fucking nightmare. Because I was like, the hen head was still live.
Oh no!
So I was thinking, this is hell. And like not easy for probably him either, or his family, or like just anyone involved. Like my sister's a lash tech, she'd literally be like with a client, they'd be like, so what happened with, like, it's not easy for anybody involved.
What the fuck is wrong
with people?
And
like messaging my friends saying like zooming in on pictures of my hand without my ring. So I'm like,
what?
Like totally over this situation now, obviously. Do not care. But that's just an example of how like people behave, and why I feel the way I feel about like being online now. It's so bizarre how people behave, and I mean people that we know behaving like that, and I'm like, but why I would never think to ask that about a stranger.
I think it's even worse when it's someone that like you know of, and you're like, we kind of know each other.
I know you.
That's so bizarre,
and it's not appropriate to ask that. So weird. So yeah, that's like
you were so young.
I was so young.
And you went through that publicly with people just talking about it.
Yeah.
And people love to talk. People love to talk. They love to spread rumours and everything. And that just, I can't even imagine how you would have dealt with that.
The questions I was getting, oh God, I was like, right, we move.
Yeah, so what was your like game plan? Because you were like, well, realistically, this has gone to shit. What was
now?
So
I actually had like a few trips after that with work that I was like, I had a bit of a meltdown, obviously. But my friend was getting married the day after it happened. So so I was like, that was honestly perfect. Because I was like, I was bridesmaid. So I was like, I have to be there. So I got up, I was fine. And then we had days of partying. No.
Okay, right.
Absolutely not. We had a day of days of partying after that. So I was like constantly socialising with everyone. And then I had trips after trips after trips that whole summer. So I just didn't even really have time to like think about it. And maybe like 2-3 weeks after it really happened, Robbie got wind of it. And we just started like talking right away. And I knew Robbie from before, and he'd tried before. The man was relentless. So I was like, you know what, he's like going to be someone that like makes me feel like really good about myself, and like it'll probably cheer me up. And little did I know, he was like, I know I'm going to be with him forever. Oh, so I was like really lucky that
you've got a tattoo. Yeah,
you got a tattoo here.
Does he have one for you?
So it's such a long story, but he has a tattoo for me that he got in tiny. He's been in Ibiza drunk, and I got this. I was sober, obviously, because I don't drink. So I'm like, I thought it was so cute. I was maybe seeing him like 6 months or something.
Okay, right. So it's not like
still quite intense to do that. But
girl, you don't want to know what I've done.
I mean, I have had one like removed from like, but I'm like, oh, there's a tattoo. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo for you. He was texting me, and I was like, where are you? And he's like, tiny tattoo, and I'm like, the most girly shop ever. I was like, okay. And he sent me a picture of like an iPad, and he'd written, it's his own handwriting, kiss. It looked terrible. And I said, I hate that. I'm going to be honest, I don't like that. And if you're going to get a tattoo for me, get it with your chest. Like, get detail, get something nice. That's shit. And next thing I knew, he sent me a picture, it was on his ankle. And I was like, I mean, no one can even see that either. Yeah. Like, it's kind of shit. So he got it covered because he got a leg tattoo anyway, it's covered. But he's like, I want to get something for you. And I'm like, well, please make it better than the MM. Yeah. It looked like it said mum. It's like drunk handwriting they've written on the iPad. It's bad. So we hated that tattoo. But he did like return the gesture, just didn't execute. So he's going to get something
So you
else.
got one first?
I got one first.
But he was there?
No, he wasn't there. I was in Amsterdam.
God.
Yeah.
Love that.
I didn't even tell him.
What?
I just got it, and then I sent him a picture of it, and he replied. He read it. He read the message, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Why is he not replying?" I was sick. I was sitting like in my bra in the tattoo shop with like this is like red raw. I was like, "He's not replying." I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, sorry, I was driving. Like I couldn't be on my phone. I love it. It's so nice. Like was excited about it. And I was like, well, I was sick for like a good 40 minutes there. But yeah, he likes awful. It.
Being left on red after getting some tattooed on, you'd be like,
I was like, where are you? What's happening? I was looking at his location like, he's on the move.
he's coming down to like, get off.
But he likes it.
So you've come from a nasty place, a nasty relationship, to something that's like, it's just so nice to see.
Yeah.
And like you're so happy. You can see how you're glowing talking about him.
You.
Even you talking about how you're so obsessed with him and everything. What advice would you give girls that are going through what you'd been through?
I honestly don't know, because I feel like I was so lucky. Like,
yeah,
to
you
be
were in a good situation.
However, I would say like you have to trust your gut. It's such a cliche, but like I knew something wasn't right. But I'd made such a public like thing about it. And
do you think that's what kind of, were you kind of thinking that he like, we've gotten engaged, he's like all over my Instagram, we're so public, like
yeah,
were you
and
like thinking
also,
ahead of the
my
fallout?
mum and dad have been together since like they were really young, and the same with my gran and papa met when they were like 14.
Oh, Christ.
Ruby's been with like Oscar for like a million years. All my friends have been in long term, and I just didn't know any different. And like breaking up, honestly, no one in my friend groups ever broke up with their long term boyfriend. I know.
What?
So I was not that anyone's putting pressure on me, but I did feel like, well, the normal thing to do is stay with someone that you've been with since you were really young. But actually, that doesn't always work. So yeah, I probably just put the pressure on myself. It wasn't like anyone else. It was just like all I knew was like long term relationships, and we were getting married. So I was like, I probably should like just go through with this, even though I didn't really feel right about it. Just so sad. But
it took a lot of courage for you to go through with it.
Yeah, I was like, well, he didn't. He broke up with me. So
I'm sorry.
He done me a favour.
Yeah,
for sure.
Did.
Because that was not right.
No.
And he probably felt that back. It just was never going to work.
To be. And now, look at you now. Do you know what I mean? You're in the most ideal position. So you're going to get married?
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh my God,
I hope so. I'm not like scarred by the whole marriage like engagement thing.
I mean,
like,
you shouldn't be.
No, I would absolutely do it.
That's so exciting.
ASAP. No, okay, Robbie's younger than me. He's like 2 years younger than me.
Is he?
Yeah. So
was
like,
that a weird thing for you? I don't think that's that weird.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. But he does. All boys act younger.
Yeah,
I think anyway. But he doesn't really. It doesn't seem that way at all. Like I forget about it like most of the time. I mean,
and
he likes to
remind
me. We basically do. Like he basically lives with me, but we're looking to maybe get something together like this year, next year.
Oh my goodness.
Well, end of this year, maybe early next year.
You're making big moves.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, I wanted to ask you, about how you're now no longer with an agency. You're now representing yourself. Is that right?
I have someone that does it for me. Yeah.
That's a big move to make.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Well, it kind of came with like last year when I was just having like a meltdown just about the job in general, just not enjoying it the way I used to.
Going to be in a TV show. Is that just not for you?
That was just not for me.
Okay.
Like I found actually when we started filming, or the show came to us and we had to all do like separate interviews with the producers and tell them like a bit about our life. My storyline at the time was going to be like the influencer who was getting married. So that like was proposed to me and I said no. Like even though nothing was on the rock or there was any problem, I said no. That's not like something I'd love to like put out there. And also it's kind of like a private thing as well.
Yeah, it's a very private thing for people to be looking into. It's like, it's so personal.
Yeah. And everyone else's storylines that I was speaking to like in the agency, I thought no one's as intense as this. So I was like, I just said no at the time. And then they were like, no, that's fair enough. Like, what would you rather? And then they said, would you mind like filming like little bits in like a wedding shot, but like you don't have to speak or anything like that? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, that is what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. So I'd filmed quite a lot and like been quite anxious about it anyway. And then obviously everything happened and I had to I didn't have to, but I made the choice to like speak about it on TV that it was no longer going ahead because there was like footage of me like spinning in the wedding shop. So like I said, I'd rather that didn't go on national television, please. So yeah, I managed to like work around that and do some other like storylines which were fine for me, but that was pretty bad at the time. And then when season 2 came around, I said no.
Did you even want to do it in the first place? Like,
not really, no.
Okay.
But like no one forced me. It was just kind of like I felt like, oh, there's an opportunity here and everyone else is doing it.
You try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I knew like actually like the crew and stuff, like I loved everyone, like the producer and stuff. It was a great thing to be a part of and it was cool at the time.
Yeah.
But it's just definitely not for me. I mean, that's not what I started doing. I didn't want to be on
You didn't want to be a reality TV
no.
star.
And like everyone else was doing it. So I thought, okay, the right thing to do, like, is to just be involved.
And if all your pals are doing it, you're like, okay, well, why not? Yeah. And you gave it a go, and you didn't enjoy it. And then season 2 came around.
Season 2 came, and I said, absolutely not.
No.
Like, I just know it's not for me.
Because the anxiety, you like, by the signs of it, you're already a very anxious person. Yeah. You don't like being perceived. And then going on a reality TV show would make you feel sick.
And it doesn't come out until like a year later sometimes.
And how much you would have changed in that year.
Yeah,
it's just
traumatizing.
sickening.
I was looking at myself like, who is that? I hate her. And we were watching, we had this big like, what do you call it? The thing they had at the Grosvenor. Why am I forgetting the name of that?
Like a premiere.
The premiere.
Yeah.
Why did I forget the name? And they were like, this is the date of premiere. I said, Robbie, we need to literally flee the city. We need to say we're doing something. I can't be here. And he was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, we need to book a night away. We have to leave. So we ended up booking like something so that we could go away. And I was like, it's honestly not far enough. And my phone was like off. Like I couldn't even look at anything to do with it. And I wasn't even in it that much. Imagine I've given more of my life away. Yeah, it's not for me.
It's a great idea, especially like something in Scotland, like the agency Unfiltered, like great idea, but just not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. And the show is clearly done really well with the right people in it. And I don't think anyone is uncomfortable doing it. So that's why it comes across like pretty well and like why people like it. But I think if
I watched the first season, we weren't even really in it.
I wasn't really in it.
Like I think I saw you
and I
talk about your, and then you like sitting in a cabana. Like, I think that's literally all I saw of you.
And that was like making me feel sick. So I was like, I don't want to have a storyline. I said in the second season, like I'll exist in the show for like storyline purposes. Yeah. But I don't want a storyline. And they were like, because I didn't want to be places that they were filming and be like, don't put me on camera. I don't want to be that. Don't want to be like that. I didn't mind being in it, but I just didn't want to have a story.
Of course.
And everyone was like fine with that. But the whole agency is going in like that direction, and that's amazing for them. But you do just outgrow.
And that's what's turned you into wanting to do your own thing, isn't it? Because it's just not going in the direction that you want to go.
And that's like no one's fault. There's like no bad blood.
Again, people love to talk.
and they love to talk. I get comments. I'm like, does anyone need any outfit links for anything? Like, let's catch up on links. So like, why are you not with Aquarius, like capital letters? I'm like, why do you care?
Yeah.
That's the real question.
Okay, why is that something that you really need to
know?
Yeah. What's
and you're
keeping
asking
you up
on
at
your account account. You're not asking on your pet account.
That's even worse.
You're saying, I know you.
I know you, and I know this is something's happened.
I know where you
here.
work. And you're asking me that. It's weird. Yeah, so there's no issue there whatsoever, and it probably was like a bit out of nowhere, but I was just having such a bad time with the job. I was like, I need to change something.
Mm-hmm.
Something different needs to happen here. And I think maybe not feeling the pressure of being with a big group of girls all the time would make me feel a bit more at ease.
Yeah.
Because I was constantly like going to things or like pushing myself to go to things I didn't really want to.
And you're not someone that really goes out like to events,
like,
parties. You
go
don't
for the
drink.
door.
Yeah. Like it's not really for you.
So that's quite a hard environment to be around when you're not really used to that. Like my friends,
if you're anxious as well.
I know, it wasn't a good combo.
Yeah.
But no one's fault, and honestly, the girls are amazing. Every girl that works there is so good at what they do. Every girl I worked with that worked there at the time, amazing. And I had the best time. I've travelled everywhere with them. Like, they got me the most amazing relationships, like great deals. Like, there's no issue there whatsoever. It's just something that I'm 28 this year. So I'd had to change things up. No one stays in the same job for 10 years.
Yeah.
You have to change things up. And there's things like this year, maybe like early next year, that I would like to do that I just wanted to do on my own, and I just didn't want anybody like else involved. And it's really hard to do when you're in an agency because there's so many girls and you're close with them, and it's just a hard environment.
So that's your answer, everyone. Stop asking.
Where's the camera? There you go. Stop at it.
No issues.
There's no issue.
Yeah, and people love to talk, as they always do. Well, there you go. You've cleared it up. Yeah. Everyone can shut up. Yeah. This is quite good for you. I feel like you're like getting out everything, being like, I'm setting things straight. This is what you need to know. Yeah.
This is my like Oprah interview.
Yeah, genuinely.
Exclusive.
The truth of Molly McFarlane. That's what I'm going to name it.
Nothing happens in my life, honestly.
I'm going to make the trailer proper, like, mysterious. It's going to be you, like, being like, and there's just one more thing I need to say, and it cuts.
I can't wait for this.
I'm going to make it so clickbait. I
love it.
It's just going to be you being really nice about people.
There was a clickbait I watched recently. It was, Hold My Drink podcast.
No.
It's like the two Irish girls, Charlene Murphy and Ellie.
I probably have seen them.
You'll have seen them before on TikTok. They've had like, what's the guy from One Direction? What's his name, the Irish guy? Niall.
Yeah.
Why did I forget his name?
Wait, Niall was on their podcast.
He's on their podcast. So is Louis Walsh. They have amazing guests on their podcast. So anyway, I've watched this video and they hadn't posted in like a month, so I thought they were just like having a break for a new season. And the clickbait like snippet of the new episode was like, it's as if they'd fallen out. And I was like, the kiddos, no. I was like, this cannot be. It came out the next day and there was nothing. They just wanted a break from the podcast. Hold My Drink.
Hold My Drink. I'm going to watch that. Yeah, no, that's really
girly podcast.
Back to how you're turning 28 this year. How do you think you've changed? Do you think that like your relationships have changed, your friendships have changed, the way you work has changed? Like, how do you think you've changed since like before being with the agency? I
would say what's changed? My style, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I saw those lockdown pics.
My style was crazy. What was going on there? But everyone's style changes. That's probably nothing that new. I would say I'm like quite a little bit kinder to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just like eat when I'm hungry. Like that's good. That's a start. Like I wasn't ever like punishing myself, but like now I'm just like, well, I'm starving and that's what I want to eat. So why would I like deprive myself? I have such a good relationship with food.
That's good.
So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there was ever like a major issue there, but now on reflection, I'm like such a foodie now and I love cooking and love going out for meals. I'm like, why wasn't I doing that before? So I didn't know, but like I definitely like wasn't good to myself. So I said that's good. What else has changed? Everyone in my life right now I am obsessed with, would die for, best people ever. Like I mean like my cousins, girlfriends. Like, I'm every single person that I'm close to, like, in my life, obsessed with. No one annoys me. No one stresses me out.
Do you think you've had like a cleanse?
I've had
who
my
you want in your life.
my Saturn return early.
Oh yeah,
I've had an early.
People
you get it at
about
29,
this.
so I think I've had it a bit early.
Tell if people are listening that don't know what a Saturn return is.
So
explain what it is.
Your Saturn return is. Now I'm not even really into all of this. But I heard
That's
Ariana
okay.
Grande say it, and I said, "I've had that." I was like listening to her album, and there's like an interlude about Saturn return, and I was like, "Wait a minute, that's me today." It's like basically that it takes 29, something like 29 and a half years for the Saturn to return, and that's when your whole circle changes. You cut out any like badness or bad energy or.
Wow.
I'm probably not explaining it very well, but there's an interlude in Ariana Grande's album if you want to know, because she literally says a Saturn return is, and then they explain exactly what it is. But I can really relate.
So you think that that's already happened, and you've basically just cut out the bad juju, and now you've got a group of people around you that is good.
Yeah.
You've started working by yourself, but you said that you've got someone that's like working.
Yeah.
For you to deal with it.
I just don't know how people would do it by themselves. Like, say
Yeah,
the invoicing side of it and like the money talk, that's not for me.
No.
I'm not really like boss lady in that department.
Fair.
Like, I can negotiate with her
Yeah.
and say like, I would prefer this, but can you say it?
Yeah,
It's not
of
really.
course.
Yeah,
She's there to do that for
That's
you.
exactly what she's for. But I've worked with her for like years, and I know her really well, so she's amazing. Yeah. What else has changed?
I mean, your relationship.
My relationship.
You're in a very healthy, good relationship.
Yeah. He's so good. He's so nice.
Oh, this is so cute.
No, I love him.
Oh, stop.
Like, he's so annoying sometimes, don't get me wrong. And we argue like every other couple, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of healthy as well. You need to bicker.
Yeah. That's completely normal. But yeah, he's like the nicest boy ever, and he's so nice, and his family are so nice and like so good to me, and that just makes such a difference.
It does
when you're
doesn't
with someone that like,
and you like their family.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the difference that makes.
It's just like going out with them as well. Like, I have such a good relationship with all of them, and they're so similar to my family, and I'm like, perfect. So I didn't think anyone could like beat them, and I'm like, my family are the best, so no one's gonna. But then I'm like, no, actually there's other really nice families out there.
Of course, but that makes such a difference. So you really have just had like a massive like flip.
Yeah.
So obviously now you're solo, you've done a lot of changes, and you said that you have some things that you want to be working on.
Yeah.
Can you reveal?
I can to you off of this.
Oh, okay.
I'll
take it.
You can have an exclusive, but honestly, I wouldn't even say anything because there's nothing to say.
Fair.
It's really hard. The like doing something like on your own that you've never done is really like running a business. Like, periods is so hard, but especially when you're doing it like kind of on your own. I'm doing it with Anna though, like Anna Burns.
Love.
So that's fun.
And Anna knows her stuff about like editing videos.
She knows everything.
She knows her stuff.
She knows. See, if I have any problem, I phone her. We were saying, you know how that song in Ariana Grande's album, she's like, everyone's doing the TikTok trend to it, and it's like, Courtney just pulled up, like the person you phone in an emergency.
Yeah.
She's my Courtney.
I love that for you.
I would phone her in any emergency possible. If anything happened, I'd be like, where the fuck is Anna?
So you're working on something with her that's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you see yourself? Like, where do you want it to go? Because there's so many influencers that are now doing so many different things. Like, you look at Emma Chamberlain. Now she's got like a coffee empire.
Yeah.
Which is just like so different from where she started.
Yeah.
Where would you like to go? Is there like something? Is it fashion related?
I would quite like to do something fashion related and be like a cool business owner, but like log off of like Miss Molly.
Oh, really?
Would
you want to
love
say
that.
goodbye?
My sister always says that to me. She's like, you need to log off. She's like, you need. What did she say to me recently? She's like, you need to go into hiding.
You want to log off of Miss
I would
Molly.
love. Well, like in my 30s, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be so nice.
And you could basically just step back and then
Yeah.
just live your private life and get people to do the work for you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you've built the foundations by building up this brand of yourself.
Yeah.
And making all those connections. You've actually just done it the right way, and then you can hit that log off button.
I would like, obviously I wouldn't disregard that platform like immediately, because I've worked hard on it, and I have like great relationships with like my followers and stuff like that. Like I've made like so many friends through it. Like there's no way I would like abandon it completely, but I'd like to do like, I'd like that just not to be my main focus. And I would just post like nice holidays and like family trips and stuff like that, because I feel like that's the content that does well for me and people actually like.
And you want a quiet life.
I do have a quiet life.
Do you want to live here though? Do you think you'd want to
I'll
move?
never leave.
You love Scotland?
I'll never leave.
Oh, I love that.
It's like the best place for me in the world. I love home.
I love that so much because I can't
like
wait to flee.
The Barhead area I love so much.
I've never heard anyone say
I love my hometown so much. My whole family live there.
Do you live in Barhead?
I don't, but I would love to move back. I stay in the West End.
That's another thing. Do people know where you live?
Yes.
That's weird.
And it's bizarre and
that's
uncomfortable.
Something I wanted to ask you, yeah, because like
that,
obviously
that actually like is probably the main thing that's made me like so anxious, is that people would say, oh, like, I know where you live, or like
people come up to you and say, I know where you live.
This woman came up to me once and said, like, you are staying in my daughter's like old flat, and I said, who are you? This is so weird. In the middle of the West End.
Really weird.
I know.
Do you think you want to move out of Glasgow then?
I would like to move back to like Barhead or like somewhere in the south side maybe.
I just love Barhead so
Barhead.
much.
My gran lives there and Papa lives there. All my cousins, like Charlie's family, live on the same street as us, and then the Burnses, Anna, her family live next door.
You've got your unit out there.
All my friends are from Barhead,
so you should just move back.
Everyone lives there. So yeah, maybe like when I had like a family.
To move to Barhead?
People that aren't from Barhead don't get it. But no one leaves. My mum's always lived in Barhead.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, I honestly love it. It's just so wholesome.
Yeah.
It's
but like
so
I get why
nice.
people don't like Glasgow. Like obviously I've seen like your video on it, and like I totally get that.
It's just the creative space. Basically I posted a TikTok that actually I got some reaction from, and I started scrapping this woman called Caroline. If you're watching, I really have beef with you. She was so rude to me. Basically, I was just talking about how I feel like Scotland is very limited for creatives, and it's just so difficult to get jobs that are here, and also where people aren't taking the absolute piss asking for like all these mad creative strategies, like social media plans, everything, and then they just use them. And then Molly, you sent me a really nice message. You were like, keep going, like you've got.
I just think like
it was so nice.
Love your content so much. I just think you're such a natural.
This is so nice.
No, I'm honestly such a fan. Like,
stop.
No, I swear, I love your videos. I think you're so good. Even just like, you kind of give me like Emma Chamberlain vibes, like on TikTok. Like you're not like trying too hard. That's literally your day in the life. Like it's just so interesting. I feel like you're hilarious as well. So I was like, no, she needs to know. But I totally get what you're saying about the creative, because as I said, I can't shoot here. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not good for stuff like that. It's just not ideal. And especially for people looking for like freelance work, it's
so rough.
It's really difficult.
It's so difficult. But I also like have no like actual desire to ever go to London. Like I don't.
Yes.
That honestly scares me. And I love Glasgow so much, and there's so much wasted potential here because there's no money, there's no opportunities. Everything is now getting mad expensive, and people are leaving. And I think it's so upsetting because then we're just draining Scotland of creativity, which is just so sad.
Yeah.
Because it deserves so much more.
It does.
And like you said, like it's one of the best places ever, but there's just nothing here.
Yeah.
And I'm tired.
It's there's so much personality, and that's why I like being here. If I've ever been like anywhere, this time last year I was in Barbados, which was obviously amazing. I was on a brand trip, but I was like, get me fucking home. I just love home. Like I just love my home comforts and like having people I know around me, and I love my car. Like I love being able to drive places. Like I'm just like a bit like takes me
like see day to day. You spend a lot of time at home.
Oh yeah,
like you're such a homebody by the signs of it. So like, what do you do? Like
I knew this question was going to come up.
Yeah, like
because when I see like my friends from like school or something I've not seen in ages, like, so what's your like day to day? And I'm like, it's so different every day.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of dog walking.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've got 2 dogs.
There's a lot of dog walking. But I would say like I shoot like 2 or 3 times a week, like go out of the house, and then the other days I'll sit in and film like my reels and stuff and edit from home, or like edit YouTube or do like my links, like stuff like that. But every day is honestly so different. I feel like with my job, there's a lot of like appointments that I go to.
Oh.
Like if I'm filming like nail content or like facial, like stuff like that, or I'm going to film like stuff for like any skin stuff, there is like a lot of that. But mainly I'm at home.
I love
to be honest.
That sounds really nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Just from my laptop.
You're in
my
the comfort
iPad.
of your own home. You're picking your own work.
Yeah.
You're in your own space.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're ready to take a step back now.
Only because of the outside noise that comes with it. Because the other part of the job I love. I love filming. I love shooting. I love putting outfits together. I love makeup. I love hair. Like that is my thing. Like I've been like that since I was a wee girl. Like when I was ever in the salon, like my mum and dad are hairdressers, if anyone doesn't know that, I would just sit and read like magazines like from when I was like really young. Like I've all like learned to do like hair from like my mum. I have sisters, so all we ever done was like dress each other up, do makeovers. So that's just like my thing. I just love it. That's what makes me happy. And it does get like slightly ruined by like just the internet.
Are there any rumours that you've heard about yourself and you thought that is just absolutely ridiculous?
Yeah.
Can you give me one?
They're like beyond belief. I don't really want to say one because I don't want to give it attention.
Okay.
Because there's like someone else involved. There's this hilarious one. I've got this one. So there's this like, I don't want to give like the blog attention, but like there's a like online forum.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And whoever invented that, you need to get a life.
They're fucked.
Yeah.
So there's this like story that this girl was like, yeah, like there's this like constant narrative that I'm like the worst and I'm like so rude and like whatever. I'm just not. My mum and dad would murder me if I was rude. You cannot be rude in a family of 6. You don't get away with it.
You've been brought up properly.
My sister is like my real life like troll. Like she will check me with anything. Like she'll tell me when I'm wrong at any, like there's no way I would get away with it. I'm just not rude. There's this story online that's like, I work in B&Q and her and her sister were in like, no, her and her sisters, 3 of us, were in being a nightmare, like so demanding. B&Q? I said, we've never been to B&Q. Separately maybe I've been once or twice. The 3 of us in B&Q for what? What were we in B&Q for?
That is such a niche lie.
We were kicking up fuss in B&Q.
Pulling down blocks of wood, smacking people.
Why though? Why are we doing that? There's loads of things like on the.
But you need to stay away from reading those. Did you ever used to read them?
Yeah.
It's quite easy to get sucked into that.
Yeah, it's easily done.
And
but
when you had, like, you talked about how you had like a bit of a meltdown. What did something trigger that? Did something happen?
Probably that.
Yeah, the B&Q lie. You were like,
not specifically B&Q, but like other just bullshit like stories. Like I mean, they are made up. Like saying like they grew up like in my house. You know, my brother really well. Our mum was like, and I'm like, you are fucked to make that up. That is insane.
Some people are just crazy.
Crazy people.
I
think it's like older women. I get the vibe.
Or just people that are weird in our age. Some people really don't have a life and they're very jealous.
Sometimes I'm like, is it someone I really know?
Sometimes I think so. I had a really, really horrible, and I'm convinced it's someone that I know. Someone that commented on one of my TikToks that called me a French slapper and like a Tory C word, and then said something about my dad and went, oh no, wait, he's dead. Yeah, it was horrendous. And I'm still convinced to this day that it's someone that I know. And a private investigator actually reached out to me and they're like, I'll find out who they are.
No way.
Yeah, I might do it. Just because I want the satisfaction of like knowing who they are and then going to their parents' house and being like, this is what you've raised.
Yeah.
Yeah, because getting the parents involved, it's like, yeah,
I'm
going to your parents.
Yeah. You just have to pity them.
Yeah,
that's sad.
Because I know I feel bad for you because this is like just so sad and like weird.
It is so sad and weird.
Like it's so. I'm trying not to laugh because it's so weird.
Why do you care?
The B&Q one is so funny.
The B&Q one is amazing. We love it.
That's a really good.
We're just kicking up fuck and B&Q. I said no, we weren't.
Would you like write back?
No, but like my friend once was like, I'm replying, I'm sick of it. Like, she was raging. But my friends were like really, really, like, if we're on a night out, which is really rare, they're like bodyguards.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They're really nice about it. In fact, sometimes they take it too far. But
you want people around you that are going to have your back.
Oh, yeah.
But your long-term plan is that you can step back, you can live a quiet life.
Yeah.
You can live in Barhead and be left alone.
Yeah, that would be so nice. But I don't want to ever sound like I'm not grateful, because I actually I honestly love the job. Like, I'm so lucky I get to work from home and like chill with my dogs and work with like the brands that I've shopped from for a million years. I really, really enjoy it. Like,
you don't sound like you don't.
Yeah,
you
I don't want that to ever come across, because
people sending you hate mail and talking about how you're a horrible person when you're not.
Cute. I'm just like not, and that's really difficult, because honestly, if someone comments like, you look terrible, I'm like, well, that's okay, because that's a matter of opinion. But if someone comments like, you're a fucking bitch, you're not
nice,
when
then
I'm
come
like,
for your personality.
Not my personality.
That is horrible. That's so, because like whatever looks, it's just like, well, you're low, but personality, that's when it hurts.
That's really mean.
That's just another level.
Or like if they speak about someone like in my life, then that's really
when
difficult.
they come for people that you love, it's like, right, like that person was like, oh wait, your dad's dead. I was like, oh really? I wouldn't have known. Thanks so much for reminding me. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, people are like, so are your boyfriend or your sister and her boyfriend still together? I'm like, you're weird.
That's so bizarre.
That's strange.
So see, if this is the last bit of advice I'm gonna ask. If someone wants to get into what you're doing, what would you tell them honestly? Because I feel like it is very much glamorized and people don't seem to understand.
You have to be really thick-skinned, I think, because you're just putting yourself out there for constant like judgment, and it should not be that way, because no one's like signed like T's and C's. By the way, you will get bullied. And I've not ever like signed a form to say, sure, that's fine. People are like, well, it's what you signed up for. No, I didn't. I signed up for free clothes from ASOS. So I don't know what you mean.
I signed up for the free stuff and the holidays.
Yeah, and I love that. And I can go away and like film videos. That is the ideal job. But it's not like that whatsoever. And also working with brands is really difficult too. That's probably something people don't consider. Like, a lot of the content I'll create doesn't get approved. There's a lot of back and forth with a lot of brands, just because certain brands will have different T's and C's to another brand, or different requirements, or they want a plain background, they want a busy background, and like it can be quite difficult with the weather here, or
there's a lot goes into it. It's not as simple as you get free clothes and you post in them. Like
and a lot of brands will come to me to create content, but they have a specific vibe that I'm like, I couldn't really recreate that, because it's quite plain and it's not really like my kind of brand. So there is a lot of back and forth that people probably don't see, but it's not like, I don't want to sound like I'm working for the NHS or something. It's not like strenuous. Obviously, it's easy work, and like it's something that I enjoy, so it's even easier. But I don't ever want to sound like I'm being ungrateful. I'm so paranoid of that.
No,
I love my job. I really do.
I know you do.
There's just a lot of difficult, like,
I can tell that it really gets to you.
Oh my God.
I can really tell that it gets you, because you're like, no, I am very grateful. I know you're grateful. You don't have to tell me. I promise, I know. And you don't come across as ungrateful.
I'm so aware that no one's like gun to my head like, you must be an influencer. I'm choosing to. I know I could go and do something else if I wanted to, but I want to like stand my ground and stay doing something that I'm clearly good at. Like, I don't want to take away from, like, I don't want to keep doing it because I know that I'm good at it and I enjoy it. I don't want anyone to ruin it for me.
I actually have one more question that I actually wanted to ask you, because you mentioned fast fashion before. Is that something that you want to start getting away from? But it must be hard if you started off with that. And then to get away from that afterwards. How do you want to do that?
When I started, no like slower fashion brands were working with anyone. That just wasn't a thing. Now they kind of are, but then that makes me think those are not really slow fashion.
That's true. I see a lot of YSL Beauty. They do a lot of stuff, but that's not, I'm guessing that's something that you want.
There's loads of beauty, hairdressing, like hair. hair content that is so fun to create, and I love doing all of that. So that's kind of what I like doing a bit more of, because it's mainly from home.
Yeah.
And it's more comfortable, like, work for me. Whereas when you're out and about, it's hard to create content in Glasgow, so it's not as difficult. It's so difficult to get away from, because it simply pays the bills. And that is shite to say, but I definitely would like to get away from it. It's just like something that
it doesn't align with who you are anymore.
It doesn't,
and you don't want to be part of it.
Yeah,
because like it's not good.
But also, like, there's some things that I'll be like, yeah, that's so lovely. Of course, I love that, because a lot of brands will come with a campaign and be like, this is the like roster of stuff to pick from. Let us know if you like any of it, and you can say like, oh, I probably wouldn't do that job. It's not really for me, or like, I actually really like that, even if I'm not usually shopping at the brand. So it always kind of depends.
It's so interesting to hear how it all works.
Yeah,
because it's not something, again, like when I asked you like what do you think people not know about the brand and everything like that, and like how to start getting into influencing. It's things that people don't realise. I think people think it's as simple as just posting photos, but you have to like really think about it and get all your lighting right. Like, see, even when I do a podcast, like the amount of stuff that I need to write down, because I'll probably miss stuff out, or like, and again, I'm not being ungrateful. Like, I enjoy doing this, but it's not, you can't just sit down and start talking and expect it to be a good conversation. And I don't think people understand how, like, it's not as simple as that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And also, like, you kind of need to quit everything else to do it full time. Like, it's difficult.
Yeah,
it's not the hardest job in the world, obviously.
Yeah, and I'm like so aware of that. I know that it's like good money for pretty easy work, but I did put like a lot of effort into it at the start. Like, that I built up this following to be able to get that. Because before, you're not just giving thousands of pounds to someone that has like really low engagement. I've definitely done things that I didn't want to in the lead up to get where I am, but that's like every job. There's really shite parts of jobs that you're like, this is not aligned with me, but I'm like, it's probably a really good brand to work with, so you want your face there, and you need to go places you don't want to a lot of the time, like events.
That's so true.
I'm like, help when I'm there.
I'm so excited to see what you do next. I'm really excited to see what you do. It's really good. I'm like, wrap this up so she can tell me.
It's honestly really good.
I'm buzzing. Honestly, Molly,
I hope it works.
I think it's going to be a blast. I think you're going to do so well.
Thank you so
Even
much.
though I don't know what it is, I feel it. The energy's good.
It's really good.
I'm excited. Right, I'm wrapping this up. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
I want to know what it is.
That was like a therapy session.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I loved it.
I love getting people to open up, because I'm like, you feel like you're in a trusted environment.
Yeah, I've never said majority of those things, I don't think. Well, to my friends and family, obviously, but
not online.
Never online.
But don't worry about being perceived, because my followers are very nice.
No, there's 2 of us here, so I don't feel as bad.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's solo content that I'm like, oh, you're the worst.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It is. Yeah, like, see the solo episodes I'm doing, I'm like, God, why did you say that? Why did you look like that? Why are you pulling that face? Oh my God. Like, yeah, it is quite stressful, because you're just staring at yourself, especially.
And you watch yourself back.
See, when you're editing it, you're like, do I sound like that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
I change my accent all the time. I don't know why I do that. So weird.
Molly, thank you so much for coming on. I had so much fun. I've been looking forward to this for so long. Honestly, you were one of my first guests that I wrote in my notes. I can show you, actually. It's like back in like 2022 or something.
Do you know what? Amy Park actually told me that one time you had mentioned having me, and I was like, but she's never asked me.
Because I was too nervous. I was too nervous.
So that's why I said
when you reached out to me, I was like, Amy's definitely spoken to her. You sent me the nicest message. You were like, I really want to come on. I think it'd be great. And I was like, oh my God, she's actually done me a favour, because I was too anxious to reach out. So thank you.
I was low-key aware, and I was like waiting for you to ask.
Honestly, that's so funny. Well, I'm glad you did it, because I had so much fun.
I loved it. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'll be back next week. Bye.